I'm going to give you 6 ways to use direct messages to start conversations with potential clients. So the first one is message a new follower. So when someone follows you or connects with you, send them a message, thank them for their interest, and ask them about what they do. And that creates an opportunity for you to give them some advice. You to say, oh, you might find my newsletter really helpful. Not a hard pitch, but start a conversation with them right off the bat, as opposed to just accepting their request or saying, thanks for following. You'll also learn a lot about who's following you and why. That you can even ask them, like, I'm curious, what made you decide to connect with me or follow me? Number two, turn a reply into a direct message. So while I said before, it's really helpful to reply to other people's posts, and you can and should still do that, you can also message someone about something they posted. So whatever you were going to maybe say in a reply, or in addition to that, you can message them and say, I really found what you said interesting. And you could include a question or something to encourage a response. Oh, that really resonated with me. I'm curious. I've always found this. What do you think about that? Again, you've created an opening for a conversation starter. You're not pitching them. You're just building a relationship, and you're jumping off something that, by the way, people love attention. Like, think about it. If someone replied to something you had posted and sent you a message and say, hey, Cheryl, that was such a great tip. Like, you have any
I'd like
more? Like, tell me more. Like, you'd feel good.
yeah.
The third way to leverage direct messages here is to offer unsolicited advice based on your expertise. Now, the key here is to make it relevant and truly helpful, not obnoxious or critical. So if you see somebody post about, oh, I have an interview coming up and I'm so excited about it, or I'm nervous about it, or whatever. Let's say they say, I'm so excited about it. You could direct message them and be like, hey, I saw you have an interview coming up on this podcast. That's so awesome. If you have any questions or want any advice, I help people do this. I'm happy to help for free. Just send me a question. That's offering to be helpful versus pitching your thing. And it's relevant because you saw that they're doing this thing. So that's another way that you can use these sort of messages. And you could do that as a reply, but it's a whole different thing in a sort of direct message conversation. The fourth one is share a resource you created. So someone posts about something, you have a blog post, a podcast episode, a newsletter, something you've created that's relevant to what they're talking about. And you can reach out to them and say, hey, I saw you talked about X, Y, and Z, or you're struggling with this or whatever. Here's a free thing I thought you might find valuable. Again, make it relevant, make it free. You're not promoting a paid resource. You're not saying, go buy my thing. You're just going, hey, I know I got a thing that might help you, and I know that it might help you based on what you talked about. The fifth one is the same thing, but it doesn't have to be a resource you created. You can share a resource that someone else created. In some ways, this is even stronger because it's really not self-promotional. So someone talks about a thing, and you can go, hey, you know what? You might like this book. I just want to let you know, I read this book by so-and-so, and it completely changed how I deal with my work-life balance or whatever it is. All you're trying to do is start conversations and relationships. Because the other thing is, if it's people that don't really know you, they're going to go look at your profile and go, who is this? And go, oh, because that's all you're trying to do. It's one-on-one audience building. I say all the time, like, how do you grow an audience of 1,000 people? Well, you get a relationship with one person 1,000 times. That's what it is. And then the sixth one here, sixth way to leverage direct messages, is to ask for feedback or market research from someone that's your ideal client. So what I love about this is you reach out to them, you explain basically, again, you're not pitching them, but you're going, hey, I serve this type of person. You're exactly this type of person. I have no pitch for you, but I'm just doing some market research, and I'd love to talk to you for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'd love to have you fill out this survey. I'd love to email you 3 questions. Like, do you have a couple minutes? Make it simple for them. Do you have a couple minutes just to tell me sort of your take on this? When I was sort of shifting my focus to helping businesses get clients from their content, one of the first things I did was reach out to people I didn't know that fit. And I was like, are you these 3? I had put it in my newsletter initially. I was like, are you these 3 things? And if you are, I was like, I'm working on some new stuff. I'd love to just hop on a quick Zoom with you and ask you 10 questions. And super, super helpful. The key is you have to genuinely want feedback and want market research, not just like an excuse to then pitch them. And I'll tell you what happened. I did a bunch of discovery calls with people. And literally I went into it thinking, like, I told them, like, look, 15 minutes. And then we would do it. And they like to talk about themselves. They like to talk about their situation. They like to say, I have problems with this, or I don't have problems with that, or whatever. Those calls all went longer because they were like, no, I'm happy to stay and chat about it. At the end of the call, I would sort of say, obviously thank them and be like, oh, yeah, this is really helpful. Here's what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And multiple of those calls actually led to clients. That was not my intention. And I'm not saying to do it for that. But what happened was I was talking to specific people. I was understanding like what their situation was, which even if that didn't happen, I learned so much from it and there became
Yeah.
a relationship there. So that's another way, like, again, that you can reach out to people, not with the pitch, but like, hey, you're exactly the right person. I'd love to know what you think about X, Y, and Z. So those six
Mm.
things, 6 ways, start conversations through direct messages with potential clients without being annoying. Number one, message new followers. Number two, turn replies in direct messages. Number three, offer unsolicited advice based on your expertise. Number four, share a resource you created. Number five, share a resource someone else created that's relevant to them. And number six, ask for feedback or market research. And that is how you actually direct message people without being annoying and actually get clients out of it.